Today, our essential question is who is the government? We already learned why we have a government and what the government is, so we can move on. Wait, you do remember what the government is and why we have a government, don't you? Well, okay, it's been a while. Let's take like a 20-second review. What is government? The government is a group of people that has the power to make decisions. They decide what's against the law and how we spend our tax money. Your question now should be, who gives them this power? Why do they have this power? Well, we give them this power. We elect them to positions of power so that they can work for us. And the government's job is to provide protection and services to its citizens. If they do this, then the citizens are responsible for obeying the law and paying taxes. Use this information to fill out part 1 of your worksheet. All right, so that's what government is. Now we need to move on to who is the government. Who are these people that are responsible for protecting us, who are making laws and spending our tax money? Well, the government is many different people, and we're going to look to the U.S. Constitution to see the 3 different parts of government. We have 3 different parts that we call the 3 branches of government. That's the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. Congratulations, you just learned the 3 branches of government: the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. These are 3 different parts of government that have 3 different jobs. You have a chart on your worksheet, and we're going to fill that out to learn a little bit more about each of the branches of government and what the job of each branch is. Let's start with the legislative branch. They have one of the most important jobs in government. They make laws. Now, who are they? They're a group of representatives that are elected by the people. When you look at this picture of the legislative branch, you notice that it's not one person like the president. It's a big group of people. And you have some people that came from Texas, some people that came from Louisiana, some people that came from New York and California and all the different states around the United States. And they all make laws together for the whole country. And they work in the Capitol. This is a picture of the inside. This picture up here is a diagram of the outside. Make sure you have all this information for the legislative branch. Now, once you have laws that are made, you have to make sure that somebody's actually enforcing those laws. And that's when we go over to the next branch of government, the executive branch. The executive branch enforces the laws. That's the president and his cabinet and the governor. We're going to talk more about presidents and governors later, but first you can see this picture and you already learn a little bit about how the president works. Here's the president right here, but he has a big group of people around him known as his cabinet. They're people who give him advice on all the different things that he has to make decisions on. He has to make decisions on education, on farming, on trade, on war, and these people are going to help him do that. Where do they work? They work in the White House. Here's a little diagram of the White House. Here's the inside of the White House. So you have laws that are made. You have someone to enforce the laws. Now we jump over to the last branch, the judicial branch. And the judicial branch judges laws. They make sure that the laws are fair and that the punishments for the laws are fair. Remember, the Constitution is like the government's rule book, and they make sure that all the laws follow the Constitution. This is a picture of the Supreme Court. You have judges in all different communities, but sometimes they have trouble making decisions, and you have to have one court to make decisions for the whole country. And that's this court, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the country. They look very proud. Hey, this guy, hey, we're taking a picture. Look forward. All right, never mind. Anyways, and where do they work? They work in courthouses. There's one big courthouse that the Supreme Court works in, but there are courthouses all over the country. Make sure you have this information for part 2 of your worksheet. Now, these are the different branches of government. You know a little bit about what their jobs are and what they do. Now we need to talk a little bit about special powers, because we haven't talked about how these people get their jobs and how these people do their jobs. And one special power that we're going to talk about is one of the powers in the executive branch. That's the president and the governor. The president and the governor have the special veto power, and that means that they have the power to veto or reject a law. Remember that the legislative branch gets to make laws, and those laws are carried out by the executive branch. Well, the executive branch has the special power where they can veto a law and say that they reject it. Then they have to send it back to the legislative branch to vote on again. So this is just one of the special powers. We're going to talk more about them later. But just so you know what the government can and cannot do to accomplish their jobs. All right, we're going to talk more later about who is the government.